Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In today's video, I'll be addressing one of the biggest lies ever told in the 21st century. Not really. Actually, it is the biggest lie ever told in the history of humanity. It is to do with the lie that Muslims didn't know about the variant readings of the Qur'an. Muslims didn't know about the Qira'at until Hatun Tash and J. Smith introduced them in 2016.
Last week then was where everything got blown over, because this very problem we introduced in 2016 when I was there at Speaker's Corner with Hatun.
And that Muslims never admitted this until Yasir Qhadi finally exposed this in June 2020 in his podcast with Muhammed Hijab.
Until last week, still Muslims were making the same claim. Now we get to hear from Muslim scholars, yep, there are the different Qurans.
Dr. Shabir Ali and also Dr. Yasir Qhadi. And both of them made some amazing admissions.
But let's focus on Dr. Shabir Ali, who has recently admitted that there are different Qurans in different parts of the world.
And this now has been totally broken open, and significant scholars are saying actually there are multiple Qurans.
Looking at the admission by Dr. Shabir Ali, that there were variants.
These recent admissions by the likes of Dr. Shabir Ali and
I don't know about you, but I find it ironic that after centuries of polemics against the biblical text, some Muslims are now saying something similar about the preservation of their own scripture.
And to be honest, I feel a bit embarrassed making this video. I'm sure many Muslims are going to look at this and say, what's wrong with you? Why do you have to respond to this nonsense? And they're right, because this is very stupid. We don't need to make a video to refute this.
When Hatun and I, Hatun actually was the one that did all the work. All I did is get up on the ladder with her and help her expose this there at Speaker's Corner back in 2016.
But the reason I'm making this video is I want to cause the greatest amount of embarrassment to these clowns who for the past 7 months have been spreading this stupid lie to their followers.
When we held up those Qurans and the reaction we got from the Muslims, because it was so devastating for them, because they had never heard that there are different Qurans. Now,
it's a strange phenomena, to be honest. Never in my life have I heard about a person, about a group of people telling lies, knowing already that they are telling lies, knowing already that the people who are listening to them know that they are lying.
These 7 uproof, that's just 7 of the uproof, were finalized in 936. That's the 10th century. Yet now, we're now in the 21st century, and no one has mentioned this publicly. Why have the Muslims not told us this before?
Brother, they don't know.
Okay, why is it Hatun's team has found this and no one else has found this? You see what I'm saying? Why does it take
generous Christian. I love to help people.
In 4 years has found something that for 1400 years Muslims have never admitted?
I mean, everyone knows it's a lie, and yet they still manage to accept it, share it, cheer for it, upload it, and believe it.
That which the Muslim scholars have been saying is proving to be a lie. There's no other way around it. They absolutely are lying. We're in the 21st century now, so over 1,000 years they've known this problem. Why haven't they said something about it? Why haven't they told the world?
I mean, even though many followers of these clowns are naive, but do you really think that they truly believe that Hatun Tash, this Hatun Tash, was the one who exposed the different Qira'at to the world, and that Muslims didn't know about it?
Hatun, see, Hatun is one that blew this all open back in 2016. We wanted her especially just to honor her and say, listen, look what you have done. Look what you have created. This is terrific. I mean, you give credit to Hatun. She is the one that saw the problems. She was the one that had the tenacity. She was the one that went and collected all these Qurans. She was the one that went public with them. She was the one that would go from mosque to mosque to mosque. She's been in 400 mosques now, taking these Qurans with her and just showing them to the imams. Some of whom have now left Islam and come to Christ because of this material.
This is so silly. It's so stupid. I mean, the mushafs that Hatun is holding in her hand is a refutation of this claim, because all of these mushafs have been printed by Muslims. Anyways, before I begin, I would like to offer a disclaimer. I'm not arguing in this video that all Muslims knew about the different qira'at. Not at all. Of course, there were many Muslims who didn't know about the variant readings of the Quran. Just like there are many Muslims who don't know how to pray. Just like there are many Muslims who don't know what are the 5 pillars of Islam. And this is not limited to Islam. I mean, religion is a vast topic. There are millions of Christians who have never in their life read a single page from the Bible. There are millions of Christians who think that the Bible explicitly teaches the Trinity. There are millions of Christians who don't know that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. But does that mean all Christians around the world didn't know about this until, for example, Muhammed Hijab or Ali Dawah said this in Speaker's Corner? Now we have heard the claim these clowns made in the past 7 months. Let's now show them how absurd this claim is. How stupid they sound when they utter this garbage. And I know that when dealing with a stupid claim, I will always encounter goalpost shifting. So I am ready for all of their goalpost shifting. Let's begin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So let's start about books. How many books have been written about the variant qira'at? I don't claim to have an accurate number here, but in this single Islamic website, there are over 500 books written on Quranic science. What is Quranic science about? Tafsir, tajweed, and qira'at. Qira'at are obviously books written about the qira'at. When you have books written on qira'at, it goes without saying that these books are going to explain the differences between the qira'at. This is an example of one of the books written on qira'at. They show you in tables like this the differences between all the qira'at, all the transmitters. Next we have tajweed books. Tajweed books will teach you how to recite the Qur'an. And in many tajweed books, they teach you the variance between the different qira'at. This is a page from one of the tajweed books where it teaches how different qari, how different reciters recited certain words. The last one is tafsir. Tafsir refers to exegesis. And of course, in every tafsir book, you will find the variant qira'at. This is an example from Tafsir Al-Tabari. You can clearly see that he's showing the variance between the qira'at. So there you go. In this one single website, we have over 500 books, and they are offered to Muslims for free. Can you guess how many books are there? Probably thousands of books written on the topic of qira'at, tafsir, etc. And these clowns want you to believe that all of these books started to appear after Hatun Tash went to Speaker's Corner with Jay Smith and exposed the different versions of the Quran. Now let's start with the goalpost shifting. Okay, let me guess how they might shift the goalpost. Well, you know, you did show us 500 books, but these 500 books might have been centuries ago. We're talking about this century. We want something recent. Why haven't your Muslim scholars told us about the qira'at? Let me deal with that. I'm going to show you 5 contemporary qira'at scholars. The first one is Muhammed Al-Mukhtar. Muhammed Al-Mukhtar was born in 1924. He has been writing books on qira'at for the past 70 years, decades, before Hatun Tash was even born. The next one is Sheikh Muhammad Salim Muhaysin. He was born in 1920s and died in 2001. So Sheikh Muhammad Salim Muhaysin had been writing about the qira'at until he died in 2001. 19 years before Dr. Yasir Qhadi and Dr. Shabir Ali allegedly admitted and exposed the variant qira'at. Next is Sheikh Ayman Suwaid, was born in 1955. And last of all, Sheikh Muhammed Hijab, who was born in 1962. Now let me guess what the next goalpost shift. Well, all of these names that you are providing are for Arabs. I mean, we are talking about the English-speaking world. The English-speaking world. Arab scholars may have known about this, but they have hidden this from Muslims who live in the English-speaking world. Okay, let's deal with that. I will give example of Qira'at books written in English. The first one is The History of the Quranic Text from Revelation to Compilation by Sheikh Muhammad Mustafa Azami. There's a whole chapter on this book on the variant readings. The next one is Ulum al-Qur'an, an introduction to the science of Qur'an, written in 2009. This is a quote from the book where the author explains some of the variants between the Qira'at. And this is another book, Variant Readings of the Qur'an, a critical study of their historical and linguist origins, by Ahmad Ali al-Imam in 2007. And last of all, an introduction to the science of the Qur'an by Abu Ammar. Who is this Abu Ammar? Well, Yasir Qhadi. This is written in 1999. So according to these clowns, in 2020, Yasir Qhadi admitted something that he had already written about 20 years ago. The definition of madness. Every single one of you should now thank Allah that unlike these idiots and their followers, we still have a functioning brain. Now let me guess once more, what could be a possible goalpost shift? Okay, how about this one? Why are you talking about books? I mean, who is going to read books? Why don't you have institutes, colleges, universities that teach Muslim about the variant Qira'at? Okay, let's deal with that. I don't know where to begin. Should I go to all Muslim countries one by one and check how many institutes and universities are there who teach Qira'at to their students? That will take very long time. So let me pick one country, Egypt. It's a Middle Eastern country, and in Egypt alone, the number of Qira'at institutes are 125 institutes. These are institutes that only teaches Qira'at. That's in one country alone. And by the way, it has been reduced from 300 plus to 125. So this article tells us that the number has been reduced. It was more than 300 before. That's just one country, Egypt. We have so many universities around the Muslim world that has Quranic science field. And in Quranic science, you can specialize in Qira'at. There are many people who get PhD in Qira'at from these universities. What about the English-speaking world? Okay, let's go and pick the United Kingdom, the most influential English-speaking country in the world. And let's go to the capital, London. We have two institutes that teaches Qira'at, Imam Shatibi Institute and Imam Ibn al-Jazari Institute. And by the way, Imam Ibn al-Jazari has another branch in Birmingham. That's in London alone. Two institutes only specialized in Qira'at. So what are you talking about, guys? You want us to believe that all of these institutes started to appear after Hatun Tash went with these so-called 27 Qur'ans to Speaker's Corner with J. Smith and held them up, and the Muslims got, shocked. And then they started, creating these institutes to teach Muslims about the Qira'at. Are you serious? Another goalpost shift? Okay, yeah, but these are institutes. Who is going to go and study in institutes? What about the internet? Why don't we have online courses on the internet? My God, I don't know where to begin. We have thousands of online websites that teaches Qur'an. Wallahi, thousands, in English and in Arabic. Some of them are even for free. So possibly these online courses started to appear after Yasir Qhadi and Shabir Ali finally admitted in 2020 that there are variant Qur'ans. Let's go to another goalpost shift. Okay, but what about the internet? What about the YouTube? What about the YouTube? Why don't we have YouTube videos that teaches Qira'at? I mean, who is going to go to institutes? Who is going to go to online courses? Where are the Qira'at in YouTube? And this is going to be the biggest blow to this ridiculous claim. I mean, wallah, I am speechless. Okay, let's check YouTube videos about Qira'at. I'm going to write Qira'at in Arabic. There are tens of thousands of videos. Wallahi, there are countless videos. Believe me, if these clowns want to count how many videos of Qira'at are there, they will spend the rest of their lives to get the right number. Because there are countless number of videos that talks and teaches about Qira'at. From 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, before any of these clowns even started to talk about Islam or to talk about the Quran, let alone to talk about the Qira'at. Let's check this channel, for example. This guy only teaches Qira'at. You can go and check this channel. So he only teaches Qira'at. Probably he created this channel after he has watched Hatun Tash and Jay Smith at Speaker's Corner. In this channel we have the entire Quran recited in the 10 readings, from the first surah to the last surah, from Surah Al-Fatiha to Surah An-Nas. Okay, another goalpost shift. Well, yeah, there are many videos, but nobody's watching them. Muslims are not aware of these videos. So let's check the view count of some of these videos. We will check the view count of 16 videos out of the tens of thousands of videos which are available on YouTube. Let's begin. 167,000, 213,000, 335,000, 400,000, 456,000, 481,000, 641,000, 943,000, 1.4 million, 1.6 million, 1.5 million, 1.8 million, 2.3 million, 3.4 million, 3.7 million, 4.3 million, 8.9 million. The total number of the view count of just 16 videos is 32,537,000. Over 32 million views for just 16 videos. And you seriously want to tell me that Muslims didn't know about this until Hatun Tash exposed them? This is a video of a competition in Africa, and this guy recites the Quran in the 10 reading. Amazing, mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and increase his iman and knowledge. And in this part, he's recited a word which is recited in 5 different ways. So in this video, which got over 1 million views, this guy is reciting a word in 5 different ways, which include, by the way, different letters. To make it embarrassing, I deliberately chose some videos of children, because it is embarrassing. We have children memorizing the Quran in the 10 qira'at and teaching them and talking about them, and here you are telling me that all of this was exposed in 20 And last of all, let's talk about this Yasir Qhadi and Shabir Ali thing. The lie that they have finally admitted. If they knew about it, why didn't they say that before? Well, I guess I showed you a book written by Yasir Qhadi in 1999. But maybe that's not enough because no one is reading books, right? Okay, fine. Let's check some videos of Yasir Qhadi and Shabir Ali themselves talk about this topic. This is in 2010 by Yasir Qhadi, a video series about the Quran. In this episode, he talked about the variant qira'at. And this is what he said.
The various different ways of how to recite the Quran. And when we say the various different ways to recite the Quran, we are not talking about different voices or different styles. We're talking about slight differences in pronunciations, slight differences in letters, slight differences in harakat. In other words, if you were to compare two printed Qur'ans, you're going to see differences between them. And this is something that many people are unaware of and many people have heard but are not fully familiar with, especially those who have been exposed to some of our brothers who live in Algeria or Morocco or other North African countries. They recite the Quran in a slightly different way. Not just a voice or not just a speaking style, but also changes in letters and words and harakat.
And this one is a lecture by Shabir Ali in 2005 about the history of the Quran. And this is what he said.
Most of us are familiar with one way of reciting the Qur'an, and that is the recitation that is commonly known as the recitation of Hafs and Asim. But in our modern world, with the increase in communications, we are becoming more aware of various ways of reciting the Qur'an. Ways that have been known to our scholars throughout all of the generations, that have been written about, that have been classified, and that have continued to be taught in Muslim universities and institutions. But there are some other texts. There is the text of Warsh and Nafi', which has been published recently. Also the work of Qalun and Nafi', and finally the recitation of Duri from Abu Amir. Now these are all names which we'll explain a little bit later on, which might give you a better overview of the history of the text and recitation. In fact, it is most widely recognized that there are 10 ways of reciting the Quran. Ibn al-Jazari became famous for his book An-Nashr fil Qira'at al-Sab'a, fil Qira'at al-Ash, the spreading of the 10 Qira'at. So 10 Qira'at are widely recognized as being standard and acceptable. They could be read in the Salat. But best of all is the latest book that is available in the English language dealing with the subject. And of course the title of my talk today is tailored after this. The title of the book is The History of the Quranic Text from Revelation to Compilation, done by a renowned scholar, Muhammad Mustafa Al-Azmi, who is a well-known university professor in Saudi Arabia. This book traces some of the details of the early recitations and the masahif, the copies of the Quran that were available, and gives you details on where there are variations and what the variations are and why these variations do not mean anything for the authenticity or against the authenticity of the Quranic text. I think it is a must-have for most students of the Quran who are studying it through the English language.
Even this card you have been playing, oh, Shabir Ali and Yasir Qhadi finally admitted, has been destroyed. I mean, what is left to you guys? After watching this, are you still going to claim that the variant reading of the Quran were exposed by Hatun Tash and J. Smith? That Yasir Qhadi finally admitted? No Muslim scholars has ever admitted that before. Wallahi, I feel sorry for the followers of these people. Guys, please, respect your brains, this God's given gift.
Her name is going to go down in history as the woman that started the demise of the Quran.
And before ending this video, I would like to tell you that I did interact with J. Smith on a live stream. And this is how it went.
And we'll wrap it up. Osama Yamani, also known as Nobody, saying, why are you claiming that you have introduced this qira'at when Islamic Awareness introduced it in 2002?
Have introduced what qira'ah? We're not introducing it. We're looking at the dates.
That tells you he doesn't listen to anything you're saying.
My goodness, I'm not the first to introduce it. This has been around for 1,000 years. Oh my. Let's be careful. What we don't have and what people haven't looked at is Muslims have not actually exposed this.
You introduced the 26 Qurans in 2016.
We introduced that was the first time that anybody had done and held them up to show that they were all different.
Right, and if
I'm sure you realized how nervous they were when confronted with this simple evidence. The Islamic Awareness website did talk about the 7 qira'at in 2002, and they also talked in that article about copies of qira'at being printed in different parts of the Muslim world. The article shows a copy of Qalun Mus'haf, Warsh Mus'haf, and Abu Amr Mus'haf. So they struggled to respond to this simple piece of evidence. What will happen to them if they see the evidences provided in this video? And by the way, we have reached the end of the video and still we have not finished counting. I tried my best. I will now leave it to the clowns to do it on their own. Good luck guys, you have your whole life ahead of you. Believe me, you can do it. And that's it. I do apologize for making this video too long, but as you have seen, a lot of it was necessary. Thank you so much guys. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi